me know when. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the morning edition of Chez, Lanoix. We're going to make some lovely French toast this morning. You know, everyone poo-poos breakfast, but it's actually my favorite meal. We're going to begin with 2 eggs. Most recipes for French toast just call for 1 egg, but I think the key to French toast is butter, and your batter should be on the yellow side, not so much on the milky side. Hold on 1 second. Get a fork, beat the eggs. And then I'm going to use some almond milk that I made yesterday. I showed you guys how I do that yesterday. Maybe I'll make this in a separate edition so that the videos will be a little shorter. And that way you can just look up individual things. So again, the reason I'm using this big bowl is because it has to be wide enough to dip the French toast. The only downside with almond milk, the only downside, is that it only lasts in the fridge maybe 3 to 5 days. Okay, so again, it's a little on the yellow side. And then what I do is I add some vanilla extract, which my mother gets from Haiti. It's pure stuff. A dash of Grand Marnier gives it a little flavor. Not too much. To your taste. My daughter is joining us, so don't be bashful with the cinnamon. Just go for it. Yes, I was saying, you know, breakfast for me is one of my favorite dishes. And you know, we always think about. Remember the beginning of this series, we talked about the importance once we get over this COVID madness of having. Look at that. Doesn't look anything special, but it's amazing. Challah bread. You can also use French brioche. I have some French brioche here, but I want to save it for something else. In my humble opinion, you can't make French toast with anything else except challah bread or French or brioche. It's just not the same. Now I cut the slices relatively thick. Not too thick, because then the flavor, the goodness doesn't get inside. But not too thin. Just right. So I was saying the thing about breakfast is we always think about inviting people over for dinner, which is fabulous. But what about inviting people for brunch? Again, once we get over this COVID madness and we're out of self-quarantine, it's such a wonderful time. I actually cook the ends. Now, once I get to the ends, I cut the culo off. So I have baby French toast, sweet baby French toast. We'll do that last. These are the chef's cuts. So, I do 2 pans at the same time, so that way we can get. The key is always, I shouldn't say this. For me, lots of butter in the pan. For me, it's really important to make more than you need for the day. Which means I'm gonna have 2 servings out of this. That means tomorrow morning when we get up, or the day after, like yesterday I made tigrillo. My lovely wife Alexandra and I, we made some Ecuadorian tigrillo. We made enough So we could have had it this morning, but I have to go to work tomorrow. Enjoying every minute. Never know. I may catch this thing and die. So this recording may be the last you'll see of me. Think of that. But we have enough to eat for tomorrow. You know, I made that lovely, my bodacious tatas of chicken, which I'm going to share with you. But again, lots of, so you kind of dip it, soak it, plop it in. You gotta shake it around so it doesn't, this is a non-stick pan, this one's not. And in between every, then I'm gonna end up dipping some more. I think I might even be able to get 3 pieces in there. Not putting more cinnamon as we go along. And just do that. Oh, that's way too much. Do that. Let's not get too excited, Richard. Oh, getting a little ahead of myself here. Yeah, so inviting people over for breakfast is a wonderful thing. You're just starting your day with love, with friends. Amazing coffee. Make these delicious almonds. For me, that's just as amazing as a dinner. Don't box yourself into these ideas of, you know, what's socially acceptable. Socially acceptable is what you make it. The key is love. Having friends near you. You know, both of my older children, Tristan and Eloise, who are now, well, in June will be 25 and 23. Where does this time go? How do they get so old? Because I'm not getting older. My wife is concerned because she's getting older and I'm not. Okay, and we only have these little pieces left, and after this we're done. I'm going to add a tiny bit more. Now, one thing you have to do at the same time, I have the oven on because I kind of soak these, and they're going to be a little soggy in the middle, which is fine. But another little trick is to put them in the oven to cook through a little bit. So, I don't know, it's just amazing. Now, while that's happening, what we're going to do, we're not just going to use syrup, right? We're going to mash if I can find my gizmo. You gotta check this every once in a while because, so that one's almost done. We'll come back to, now look at this goodness, right? Now what I like to do is let that side cook just for, oh, that's not ready yet. Just for a second. Ooh, that one's good. Look at that. How about this one? I'm sure there's a better technique than what I'm doing right now, but good enough for me. Now here's the trick. Trick number 2. I'm giving you lots of tricks here. Is you take these out just for a second. Just for a second. You gotta add some more butter, because it's the butter that gives it that golden color. If you're concerned about your weight, don't. Well, yes, be concerned about your weight. Obesity is the major problem. Is going to be, if the COVID doesn't result in decline of the Western Empire, obesity will. I'm actually writing a satire entitled The Portly Ones that discusses this. Okay, so now you see I have the butter, and that's gonna give it flavor and, oh, so same thing. You don't have to take them all out. What you can do, just put a little, oh, I just lost my butter. I'm gonna add a little bit of butter here. I'm gonna go bam, bam. And the rest for this one. I think we're gonna have to crush a little later. This is going a little faster than I thought. So I have the oven heated. And I'm just gonna place it in here. Take this pot off the fire for 1 second. That's the problem with when you're using 2 pots. You gotta juggle a little bit. I like juggling. Now look at that. Gold. And then we're gonna throw these lovely fire. Look at that. Now sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually pour some of this goodness on top of it, but not today. I think we just need 1 pot right now, so we don't need this one anymore. Don't burn yourself. So we only have these 3 little babies left. I think what I'll do is, again, you don't want to waste food. You really don't. You gotta use everything in your kitchen. So I have, these slices are a little too thin for my liking, but we're gonna make do. So we're gonna repeat this process. We're gonna add a little butter, a little. Never put metal to a non-stick pan. Add some cinnamon. Now sometimes what I'll do is I'll use the little ones first. Right, I'll use a little one first. See, I'm soaking it to let it absorb all that goodness. And then taste it, right? Taste it to see do I have enough Grand Marnier in there? Do I have enough, whatever I'm using? But come on, French toast is French toast. We don't have to go overboard here. Okay, I got a little corner here so I can throw in. Now, you might think I'm being ridiculous, but I don't want to waste that little bit. So what we're going to do, well, we might. One more slice. Yeah, I think we're going to do 1 more slice, maybe even 2. Let's go just for the last 2 slices. We're going to add a little bit more. So my nephew asked me, because he saw one of these videos, why should he bother learning how to cook? It's a very good question. I told him what my mother told me when she first taught me how to cook at the young age of 11. My mother is prescient. One of the most brilliant human beings I've ever met in my life. I'm crushing. There's no trick to this. Just Lots of love. And it's just, I use this thing just to break up the big ones, and then I go in with a fork. And again, goodness, you can do this with Frangelico, with any liquor or bourbon of your choice. Don't let me rain on your parade. There are no rules here. Recipes are just rough guides to get you started. Once you get started, just go with it, man. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that one's not ready. How about this one? This is cooking a little slower. I think that one's almost done. Yeah, look at that. Look at that baby. So my mother, I didn't ask her because I knew better. My mother said, do this, I did that. And she told me, you know, Richard, with those eyes of yours, I used to have all this curly hair. And that curly hair of yours, I don't doubt that you're going to have lots of women cooking for you in your life. And she said, but in between the women, when one is gone and the next one, before the next one comes, you gotta learn how to take care of yourself. So my mother taught me how to cook, iron, sew. I used to make clothes for my G.I. Joes and my sister's Barbies. Okay, again, we're gonna take this out for a sec. See, sometimes what happens, right, if you don't have that butter, like that one, see how golden that one is? This one's, the taste is the same. The taste is the same. But again, it's sometimes, it's not just, no, it's never just about the taste, I'm sorry. It's about the presentation, what it looks like. So my mother said, you know, you got to be prepared for the in-betweens. And she also, I'm making a mess here. She also taught me the importance of generosity, of cooking, Now, she didn't tell me this. I learned this later on my own, but this is what I told my nephew. This is the second thing I told my nephew. By the way, my nephew's super good looking. He's 15 and he's already 6'5". I don't think he's gonna have too much trouble in his life with women or men. Who knows? He might be gay. You never know. And that's okay. Everything's okay. I told him there's no better way to seduce someone than through a home-cooked meal. The art of seduction. You know, it's truly a lost art. I mean, one day I'll have my lovely wife on and she'll tell you how I seduced her. I mean, in addition to these devilish good looks. After meeting her, the first night after, and mind you, I was pressured. I had 1 week to do this because she was in New York for 4 months and then was going back to Ecuador in 1 week. I met her the last week, so I didn't have a lot of time. I had to work quickly. And I knew better than to rely simply on these good looks because my wife is drop dead gorgeous, and the fact is, I'm not that good looking despite what everyone says. So, okay, we're done with our French toast here. So what I did for her, I immediately invited her to dinner. And when she showed up, I had prepared for her an 8-course meal. She was impressed, including dessert. I made a charlotte. I'm going to teach you how to make a charlotte one soon. I'll make a charlotte. I don't make too many desserts. That's just hasn't been my thing. But again, in these times of COVID, whatever was your thing, throw it out the window. Find something else. Add to it, because nothing is going to be the same, my friends. So go for it. Okay, as I said, I have a little drop here. I think I'm just going to save it, or I'll make some more later. But you want to put this in the oven. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just pour it over. But we're going to eat it now, so I don't want to, because otherwise you have to leave it in the oven a little longer. But what I'm doing now is you want to make, you don't want to just throw maple syrup. Obviously, you want to use organic maple syrup because it tastes better than that Aunt Jemima crap or whatever else that's on the market that's pure sugar with some food coloring. So we're going to put some of this. Let's see. Now what we're going to do, right? Let me see. We're going to see if there's enough Grand Marnier in there. Hell no. Now we can be really extravagant and make a flambé. So again, I made an 8-course meal for her. Maybe we'll recreate those 8 meals one day. But the point is, when I mean by seduction, it's not just about, we've taken terms and misused them and abused them. We talk about seduction, automatically you're thinking about seducing a man or a woman, same-sex, hetero, it doesn't matter, for the purpose of sex. No! Seduction is the art of intriguing someone, of conquering them, of bending them, of making them supple. It's a beautiful thing. It's a lost art. It's not about sex, So anyway, I told my nephew that you want to seduce your friends, your male friends, women friends, but bottom line, you're trying to get into somebody's pants, you cook for them, you're in, man. So we are almost ready. And by the way, you don't have to add any more butter to this. The other thing that came up while I'm just waiting for this to end was, because I went on to talk to my nephew about rules to live by. My rules to live by. Rules that have guided me for most of my life. Look at that. Well, I didn't taste it again since I put the Grand Marnier in. Oh, I want to lick the spoon. And then what we're going to do, hold that thought. Brad's organic maple syrup. I don't care if it's Brad's, just get organic maple syrup. This is the good stuff. This is the real stuff. Your body is the temple of the Lord. Let's say, I'm going to come back to my story, but let's say, you just hit the lottery. And even though you're not a consumer, like I'm not a consumer, I don't buy stuff. Just put a little bit in there. It's healthy. I'd probably buy myself a fancy car. I mean, a really fancy car. Why? Because I could. Now, am I going to put shitty gas in that car? I don't think so. Am I going to put shitty oil? No, I'm going to put the best in it because this is a racehorse. This is beauty. And then in 3 years, as well as I took care of that car, I'd probably buy another car. Again, I'm not a consumer, but why not? I mean, if I have that much money, why not? And being the wonderful soul that I am, I would not sell the other, but I'd give it to someone who is special as a gift. And I take care of that car just as well. We probably all do the same. So for you, it may not be a car. Maybe, I don't know. So you're telling me you're gonna refuse to put shit into your car, but you put shit into your mouth. This is what we see this all the time. You're putting GMO, refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup, garbage into your mouth, and you wouldn't put garbage into a car. That's perspective. Think about that. So anyway, my rules of life. Rule number 1. I learned this when I was 13 years old, and I attribute it to Maria Toro, my very first girlfriend when we were in high school, who her favorite saying was whenever, shit would happen, she'd say, Richard, don't sweat the small stuff. And then she'd pause don't sweat the small stuff. And by the way, it's all small stuff. So at first, this was just like a cute thing, right? Don't sweat the small stuff. But, as you get deeper into your subconscious mind and consciousness, that is a truly profound statement that serves you in every possible way, because it is all small stuff. This is all an illusion. You're here one minute, you're dead tomorrow, which, again, we talked about this, right? Time is an illusion. I'm 50, going to be 59. Where are these 59? It's illusion, pure illusion. So it's all small stuff, and we know that. Just think of the things that you fought about 5 years. Are they important to you now? No. I mean, of course, there's some ridiculous people, and I hope you are not one of them, that everything is important, everything is worth fighting about. Good luck to you. Have fun with that in these times of COVID madness. But for the rest of us, we as we go along, we let go of things. So why not look forward and say, why don't I let go of all of it? Because it's all just happening. It's all just happening, and it's God playing the role of Richard, playing the role of my Alexandra, my kids, of you. And we get a front row seat. We're the censors. We get to observe all of this. Why react to it? It's like watching a movie. Enjoy it. Cringe, laugh, cry. It's all theater. Enjoy. It's all small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. Another rule that I go by that came to me much later in life, but equally important, is everyone is doing the best that they can with the resources that they have at that moment. That forgives everybody and anything of anything that they could possibly do. Because, I'm not religious, but Jesus on the cross is like, forgive them, Father. They don't know what, I'm not going to curse. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. We don't know what the hell we're doing. You don't know what you're doing. Why do you think that guy who cut you off on the road or in line, what makes you think he or she knows what they're doing? They're doing the best that they can with the resources that they have, and their resources may be very limited. You don't know that. So the alcoholic who's spitting and vomits on me in the ER, or the person who's screaming at me because they waited an entire 5 minutes for me to take care of their stubbed toe while I just finished taking care of a child who died, and I'm trying to comfort the parents. I used to. I don't get upset with that person anymore, because they're doing the best that they can with the resources that they have. And here's the interesting part. When I lose my shit with that person, or for instance, the other day, I screamed at my lovely daughter Paloma. I don't even remember the reason why, but I lost my shit. Guess what? I was doing the best that I could with the resources I had at that time. All is forgiven. Which leads us back to point number 1. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. The last rule that I live by, I came by just a couple of years ago. I was watching YouTube and I came across a video. Actually, my son gave me the link to this video. I think this is almost ready. Don't want to burn my hand. You these hands do have to save lives tomorrow. Now that's love. That is pure love. So my son, Tristan, sent me this link to some Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson compilations, and in these compilations, this is a thing that he used to do when he was in the wrestling world. Like he'd ask somebody, he'd have a microphone and say, what's your name? And the person would start saying, my name is, and he'd say, it doesn't matter what your name is. And, whatever, he'd ask somebody, what do you think about, what's going on? And as soon as they start answering, he'd go, it doesn't matter what you think. Imagine, this big, The Rock Johnson saying that. And, that stuck with me because I realized none of it matters. Why? Because it's all small stuff. So I learned something. I think Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is actually an enlightened being. But not only is he an enlightened being, but he's a smart enlightened being, because what happens to enlightened beings when they come to the earth and try to save us? Remember Jesus? Remember that guy? Yeah, that's what they do to people. They put you on the cross. They lynch you because people aren't ready to hear the truth. So Dwayne is smart, right? He gave us the word. He gave us the message. It doesn't matter. And he does it in a funny way that it falls on the ears of people who are ready to discern, to embrace what that truly means. None of this matters. We're just here for God's amusement. Some of you are going to get upset with that, but it's not my idea. Go back to the Buddha, and he said the same thing. Just enjoy the ride. Even the shit that's happening, just enjoy the ride. Take a deep breath, because it's all small stuff. So, it's all small stuff, but some small stuff really matters. Like this lovely French toast that I'm going to serve. Some lovely coffee. We're going to put this on top of it. And it's going to be such a wonderful and beautiful way to start. COVID day number. Make up a number. Love you guys. Ciao.